Bonjour mes amis, et bienvenue au Pendu dans le Cercle de Lune. Hello friends, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you probably know from my attempt at a French introduction that this is my series in which I use Cercle de Lune adjacent, or antique Italian decks to help me unpack a central message that I get from my larger weekly spread. And I've already done my larger weekly spread for this week. I think the title of it will be, I haven't titled it yet. I've recorded it, but I haven't titled it yet. I think the title will be Abundance. And abundance was the central message or the central idea of the spread. But there were a few parallel messages, parallel ideas that were emphasized and repeated several times throughout the spread. One of them being the appreciation for what is and being willing to recognize what is no longer serving and allowing ourselves the opportunity to take that stuff which no longer serves, which is outdated, which has become unnecessary, and perhaps recycling it, reusing it, mulching it, or repurposing it for other things. The other message was to continue doing reality checks, to check where we are. Is the next step we're taking or about to take beneficial for us? Is it moving us in the direction we want to move in or not? Rising up and also getting a larger picture, getting a sense of where the pieces are laying. So this was a very large, a very complex, but meaningful spread that we looked at this week. And so having a central message, a concise message, is going to be very beneficial for us. So I've got a spread already laid out. Yes, I have laid out the cards. So what am I going to do? I'm going to show you the question I ask every week. What is the central message of this week's elemental spread? And then I will show you the cards, and then we'll talk about them. Are you all ready? Friends, before we move on, I want to thank you. Thank you very, very deeply for hitting the thumbs up button and for subscribing if you haven't subscribed, because that really does help the channel. Also, hit the alarm bell if you want to get, so that you can get notifications of when I upload videos. I have tended to upload videos about the same day every week until now. My schedule this semester is such that my upload times are a little bit irregular. So having that alarm bell hit will help you immensely. Also, if you want a reading from me, my email address is below. Shoot me an email to thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com. We'll get you a reading. Or you can let me know in the comments below. We'll figure out a way to get a reading for you. Whatever kind of reading you want. Cercle de Lune, Smith-Waite. I'm open to Thoth now. Many, many possibilities. So there's that. Now, friends, we're ready for the rest of the video. Let's dive right in. Here are the cards and the question. What do you think of this deck that I used? It's a mass market deck. It's called the Squid Cake Marseille. Do you have it? Do you love it? I think it's really cute. It's one of my modern redrawings, what I consider Cercle de Lune adjacent decks. Pink and blue and very, very cute. Very, very cute. Even cuter than for example, Marshmallow Tarot or the Tarot Serene. Yeah? Which I love. And they're actually about the same size as both the the Marshmallow Tarot and the Tarot Serene. But it's got a different kind of vibe. It's got a little bit of a, I don't know, a little bit of a drugged out kind of vibe. I don't know. I don't. I'm just think the people's expressions in this deck are just so odd. Their eyes are so. I don't know what to say about it. But anyways, so it's a cute deck. This is what the back of the back of the cards looks like. And so you saw from left to right, we got the King of Wands, the Queen of Coins, and the Wheel of Fortune. A very powerful spread. And I didn't see any need to add any more cards to it because the King and the Queen face each other, and then the Wheel of Fortune at the end seems like a really good punctuation card. And then below you saw an extremely large Oracle card, right? That is from the Mildred Payne's Midnight Oracle. There'll be links in the description box below and titles, yeah? There will be a link for the Squid Cake Tarot, and there will be a link for Patrick Valenza's site with the Mildred Payne's Midnight Oracle. It's something like that. The title will be down there. Okay? So, but yeah, that one Oracle card is larger than 3 tarot cards from the Squid Cake Marseille all put together. Right? Okay, I lied. 3 cards put together is just a little bit larger than the Oracle card. Never mind. But still, it kind of felt like that. So from left to right. Okay. King of Wands, Queen of Coins. They meet, right? It's the union of those two. Which was, I think, important because there were a lot of indications of unions in this week's larger spread. Now, the Two of Cups was placed between the Nine of Cups and the Aeon card, which is a card of the element fire. So we had fire and water opposites meeting or being joined by the Two of Cups. So that joining of the male and female, not masculine, feminine, the male and female, the yin, the yang, the fire, the earth. Which it would have been a little bit more interesting if it were the Queen of Cups, but I see why it was the Queen of Coins instead. So we have fire is active, coins are receptive, right? So very interesting. Let's start with the king. The guy looks like he's on drugs to me. Just saying. So you have this King of Wands, big old eyes, little itty bitty wand being held over his shoulder. Cutest card imaginable. But still it is the King of Wands. So we have ideas of the big picture. Being able to see, being able to know, to feel, to understand the big picture. What's going on. He's also the leader, right? He's the leader king of the kings. All the kings are leaders, but the King of Wands, the fire of fire, is the leader. Yes, to me, kings are fire. Knights are air. Just saying. So fire of fire, the absolute leader, the passionate one. The King of Wands is able to overcome challenges. The King of Wands is often called to lead rather than someone who stands up and says, I want to be a leader, right? The King of Wands is called to lead. Other people want him there, her there, them there. And the King of Wands has mastered his, her, their energy and is vital, is creative, is sexual, is inspired. Rather than intuitive, it's inspired, is spiritual. So the King of Wands has power, is a sincere lover, or a sincere warrior. Not in the sense of the King of Swords who's out to fight for ideas, and the King of Wands is there to fight as a warrior for the passions, right? For their creativity, to build something. So this leader with the big picture, who has mastered energy, his creativity, his vital, his sexuality, is meeting the Queen of Coins. Beautiful card. And yes, she looks a little drugged out to me too. But she's a beautiful. See how she holds her coin up there? She's sitting on her armchair, kind of a little bit battered looking armchair to me. Not so horribly battered, but still. With that coin up there above her, held very comfortably. Because the Queen of Coins is one of creature comforts and financial security. She's got everything she needs, really. She's practical. She's able to make do with what she has, though she does have tangible assets. But even if her assets aren't in superabundance, she can make do with what she's got. She knows how to use what she has. So she's the one of material and personal stability. She's water of earth, yes, but this is water of stability. She's the most stable of the queens. She's sober and she's realistic, and she has a clear, realistic vision of where she is and where she's going. She's practical again and pragmatic. She expends her energy both to maintain, but also to innovate in a very pragmatic way. She's able to do the new thing. She wants to do the new thing. She will do the new thing, but she doesn't leap into the flames like the Queen of Wands might. She's pragmatic in doing the new thing. She's courageous. She's courageous enough to look herself in the face and know who she is, where she is, and what she is doing. Which is the other thing that we were called to do in this week's larger spread. Self-evaluation, reality checks. In order to be able to do the new thing. Able to take what we've got and reuse what is no longer of benefit to us as it is, and take one more step and yet another step and yet another step in the direction of we want to be going in, which is a new direction, which is a new thing. So if we can join these two, the passionate leader overcoming challenges, mastering their energy with the practicality, the sober, realistic vision, the pragmatic ability to innovate of the Queen of Coins, and look at themselves just as the King of Wands knows himself, his passion, and looks at what is possible and is ready to do it. The Queen of Coins looks within and sees who she is and where she is and what she is capable of doing. We do those things. And the Wheel of Fortune. Cutest Wheel of Fortune. Look at the creatures both coming up and going down. Little slimy, but very cute in their sliminess to me. Okay, maybe they're not slimy, but that occipodal there on the side could be kind of slimy. Is it a cat coming down the other side? Pink cat. Blue water creature. Sphinx-like thing at the top. Just cutest little Wheel of Fortune. But still it's the Wheel of Fortune, which is fate, chance, luck, change, right? Cycles. Repetition, end of a cycle. We got that in the larger spread, that this is the end of the cycle, and which implies or gives us the knowledge that it's the beginning of a new one, right? It's the rise after the fall. And adapting to that, adapting to the change, which we had an indication of in the larger spread. So the King of, I've got a card that wants to run away from me. Okay, I got the card secured under my leg. So, the Queen and the King, they meet each other, and they're able to accomplish this. Which is interesting because, why? The central card for this week's larger spread was the card of abundance. But it was the abundance of result of personal action, and that, I did this and I got this and yay. Yeah? And those moments of abundance are very short-lived. And there's a darker side to that Three of Cups, the side of dropping into the underworld. And perhaps dropping into the underworld, we discover our true power, our independence of results from our actions, to discover the abundance of the universe rather than the abundance of, I did this, so I got that. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you? And so that abundance that we experience is not necessarily the abundance of the top of the wheel, but rather maybe a bottom of the wheel abundance. And here we are ready to, okay, so we let that go. And so as we let that go, we realize, well, then where the heck am I? And maybe I'm at the bottom. Maybe it's now time for me to rise and actually become abundance. Yeah? So let's check that. How can we check that? One way we can check that is with this card, the Oracle card, which was the Gardener, number 3. And the description from the guide text for this card is a housemaid, tired of troublesome weeds growing wild in her garden and abundance of weeds, proceeds to behead the plants with a quick snip from her pruning shears. The meaning of light is getting rid of problems once and for all, taking personal responsibility and eliminating negativity, which is good advice, which is basically the advice that we got from the larger spread. Now, get rid of problems once and for all. That hanged man in the water, get rid of that which is clinging to us and is not serving us and is a problem. Now, take personal responsibility for who we are and where we are. And we want to, it says for this card, eliminate negativity. We want to turn to positive thought and positive action to move towards our success, was the advice for this week's larger spread. So this makes absolute sense. And if you have not seen this week's larger spread, I highly recommend that you go see it. I usually put this card at the beginning, but I'm going to put it here. Yeah, I suggest, even after you saw this concise, the central message of this week's elemental spread, go back and look at that if you haven't seen it yet. Because I think with this reading in mind, that reading will make even more sense. Does that make sense? So friends, here we are. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming on this journey. And thank you for helping me to discover what would be beneficial for us in this coming week. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.